All right. So let's go ahead and get back to Zoom here. We should be live for episode 5 of the PIDCAST. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining me and bearing with me for a few moments as we have, as you can tell, we've got a completely brand new setup again this week. Doing this over Zoom once again. I want to give a big shout out to my friend Raz for allowing me to use her space tonight, as well as some of her gear, to bring this episode to you, the people, for the PIDCAST, the cast for the people. Right now, I'm just going on to Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and share the live feed, of course, to everybody around and make sure that everybody can see it. Excuse me one sec while I do that. We're going to share. I think I'm going to send it in Messenger. I'm in this big old group chat. Let's send it there as well. Boom. All right, we should be done with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PIDCAST episode 5. Today is April the 21st, 2021. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Brandon Rupska from Indiana Midwest emo outfit, All American Chess Club, will be joining us tonight round about 10:40 to talk all things All American Chess Club, as well as their new single that they'll be telling us about a little bit later on the program. Aside from that, we will be talking with Logan in his return. Last week, of course, we did our episode with Ian, and we talked UFOs, we talked everything UFOs in space and all that cool stuff, and the extraterrestrial, the paranormal, the supernatural. And this week we'll be returning a little bit back to the traditional PIDCAST format. We'll have Logan on here in about 20 minutes or so, and in the first 20 minutes or so, I'm just going to give you some brief updates on what's going on in the world of Paco, and Paco is Desperate. First and foremost, I wanted to say thank you very much. We got added to a Spotify playlist by a person, they, them, named Igor, and that playlist is Emo 2000s. You can find that on Spotify, with 118,000 followers and listeners to that playlist. And ever since we were lucky enough to land on that playlist, our streaming numbers have been going through the roof. I wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who has checked out our new stuff and has been on board. We are pushing 1,000 monthly listeners for the first time in the 6-year history of this band. It's a pretty monumental thing, something I'm super duper proud of and super grateful, especially considering the song in particular that got picked up. Our song Opal, from the split that we did with Brown Maple a little bit of just about a year ago, last March or so. We did a split with another Toledo band known as Brown Maple, and Opal was one of our 2 songs on that split EP. It's a song about my mom. For those of you who don't know about my particular story, for a very long time I had a very bad problem with drugs, especially heroin, cocaine, methamphetamines, just anything that, kind of take me out of reality, take me away from what I was feeling. And that persisted through much of my adolescence into my early adulthood. I was raised by my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, so my dad's mom, and she was a very important person to me. That song that Opal is about her. It's about how it's been difficult to cope with her being gone, and then knowing what I was before she left this world, knowing the person that I was then versus the person that I am now, how far I've come. The song is basically is dealing with kind of how difficult that is to, come to grips with. Somebody that was so important in your life, somebody that was so monumental in making your life better, and making sure that you could have a life worth living despite all the circumstances, the obstacles, the trials and tribulations that I've been through. She made a lot of sacrifices and did a lot of wonderful things to make sure that I had a chance to succeed in this life. And with absolutely nothing really, we were on Social Security. That was the income that we lived off of for most of my life. Opal is a song just basically is kind of like my letter to my mom, even after she's gone, of saying, like, I'm sorry that I couldn't get things figured out before, before our time here on Earth together had to end. And I hope going forward that you're proud of what I can achieve and what I've been able to achieve. So that's what that song is about. Super stoked that that song got picked up by a playlist and that people are really connecting with that song. I'm a little surprised, admittedly. It's a song that's been kind of sitting out there in the ether, not really doing much of anything up until now. It had a little bit of buzz, but it really wasn't like anything crazy. And now for it to get picked up and get all this love on this playlist, super, super awesome to see and to witness and to be a part of. I'm grateful. So thank you to everybody who has played that song in the last week, who gave that song the best, or gave that song the love and stuff. It means the world to me, more than I think anybody will ever know, especially giving my personal connection to that song. So thank you. We're about to break 1,000 monthly listeners. Paco's Desperate's been a thing for over 6 years now. I started this project in 2014, March of 2014. So that would actually make it 7 years. It's been 7 years now, and we have never even come close to approaching 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify through several releases. So thank you so much to Igor for adding Opal to the Emo 2000 Spotify playlist. Thank you everyone who's been jamming it and making that song a part of their something that they're listening to, part of their everyday listening music. I appreciate it. I'm grateful. It means a lot to me, especially that song in particular. Check the comments a little bit here. Austin Hood's chiming in a little bit saying, PID, what's up, Austin? Good to see you. Glad that you're tuning in tonight, my friend. Raz says, it's rough that a lot of people have similar stories. Pretty awesome that you use your art to memorialize her. And that's, I don't even know so much it's about memorializing her as it is just making sure that the sacrifices that she made, and the extreme amount of effort that she absolutely did not have to put in to make my life better. She put in that effort, and it's about making sure that effort isn't in vain, that all that effort she made to make sure that I turned out and had a good upbringing and stuff, despite all the circumstances, despite our lack of resources. That's what's important to me, is just to make sure that the reasons that she did that don't go out in vain. I want to make sure that I'm always doing the best of my ability to make her proud, and that's what it's about for me. So with that being said, let's talk about something a little bit more uplifting. Super stoked yesterday to announce that we got our own motherfucking beer coming out. I bet you guys didn't see that coming. It's been very hard to keep a secret the last however many weeks that we've been planning to do the Glow IPA. I'm super duper stoked to be bringing my very own beer to the people. Huge shout out. Cannot give enough thanks to Patron Saints Brewery and my friend Christian for the connection into Patron Saints to make this happen. We're super stoked to work with them. They are a great local business, local brewery here in Toledo, Ohio. Absolutely deserve your support. So a little bit more about the backstory behind the beer. Funnily enough, it just kind of was an idea that got thrown around, I think, in the band chat. I think it might have even been Taylor's idea, of course, Taylor being our manager. I think that might have been an idea that he proposed. And, my initial reaction to hearing about, oh, we're going to do a beer was like, what do you mean we're going to do the beer? Like, how the fuck do you do a beer? I don't exactly like, how exactly do you make a beer happen? We're not Budweiser here. We're not Bush, Anheuser-Busch. Like, we're not a brewing company, and it turns out if you reach out to your local businesses and let them know that this is what you would like to do, and here's how it could benefit you, and here's how it could benefit them. If you come to them and approach them with an idea and you pitch it, sometimes you'll strike out, maybe 9 out of 10 times even you'll strike out, but 1 out of 10 times you'll get somebody that's responsive, and that isn't, that here's your idea and it's like, that sounds awesome. We'd love to be a part of that. And that's how our partnership with Patron Saints was born. We just reached out to them and said, here's our crazy left field idea that we want to do. We're a band from Toledo. We're looking at it like, who else is doing something like this? Nobody's doing a beer. It's kind of a an out of the box idea, and they loved it and they thought it was a great idea. And so we've decided to approach doing the beer, and it has been a very difficult secret to keep. I will say that I've so badly wanted to talk about it and just kind of spill the beans, but I have managed to luckily keep that secret for long enough now. that we were actually able to announce it properly and get the surprise value, which was awesome. So many people were like, holy crap, can't believe, like, what the hell, this is actually happening, you're actually doing this, like, how do I do this for our band? How do like how did this even come about? All these different questions. The truth of the matter is it was just as simple as asking. We had a crazy question, we asked it, and luckily enough, we were heard by patron saints, and they're like, let's do it. And so crazy idea turned into a reality. May 28th, you will be able to purchase Glow IPA in all of its wonderful glory, exclusively both in cans and on tap from Patron Saints Brewery. That's literally right here in Toledo, Ohio, located off of West Bancroft Street. You can stop in, you can buy cans, you can buy on tap as well if you just want to come in and stop and have a drink, hang out. That will be available May 28th. Super excited about our very own beer, the first beer that I've ever released, and maybe not the last. Who knows? Maybe the beer game ends up being a lucrative, fun, thing that we can get into, and maybe, just maybe, depending on the demand and how well you guys receive the beer, maybe it could become something that we do more than once. So with that being said, super excited to tell you guys about Glow IPA. We released a little bit of a promo today for that. I tried to edit and produce the promo in the style of like the Built Ford Tough commercials, which I think are super funny. And like just like that all-American, super tough guy, badass kind of thing. I love that, and I thought it would be really funny to make a parody of that, except for our beer. So I got my coworker Bill. Thank you so much, Bill, for doing the voiceover for the promo. If you haven't seen it yet, it's super funny. Just check it out on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Let's see. Raz says, bro, I want to try it so bad. You said it was an IPA. It is an IPA, 6.5% alcohol by volume, and 16-ounce cans as well as on tap is how it will be available. A couple of people have asked me about whether or not we will be shipping it, or if we can get it out of state or any of that thing, that kind of thing. To be honest, I don't have the answers to those questions right now. That's something that we'll figure out and settle amongst our brewing partner, Patron Saints. We'll figure out if we can do that and what the rules and regulations on shipping alcohol and that kind of thing are, which I don't know. I don't have any clue. It's not something I just want to blindly do. So let me look into it, figure it out, and we'll go from there. Another thing I want to talk about this week is cryptocurrencies. I don't know how many of you guys are invested in or own cryptocurrency. I personally decided to go all in on crypto this week. I don't know, man, something clicked in my head, the wheels started turning. I read some articles and I was like, I'm tired of being like broke and like not really having very many investments. I do have a 401k and that kind of thing, but I'm by no means somebody who's well educated on financial stuff and investment and that kind of thing. And so I'm like, crypto seems like a really good opportunity. So I did a little bit of research, made sure I did some research before, and I invested some money into crypto. How many of you own crypto or trade crypto or have owned crypto or in the past? Just curious, for the people watching, if you've owned crypto or have traded crypto in the past, just comment in the comments below and let us know. Just kind of trying to get a general feel for that. I just spilled a bunch of wine everywhere. Oh my goodness. Oops. So yeah, I put a bunch of money in crypto this week. I think I put most of it into Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I also did place some into some other coins, and some other coins that I'm excited about the potential of, I should say. There's definitely some coins that I've got my eye on, and I honestly don't know a ton about this kind of stuff, and the one thing I'm trying to do very much so is make sure that I don't invest anything that I can't afford to lose. And if you are investing in something like crypto or stocks or any sort of investment, you have to understand the risks and the potential for you to lose money before you go in. So please don't ever spend any money that you cannot afford to lose on crypto or any other sort of investments or assets. I didn't, and I do encourage anybody else to do so. I used money that I had a little bit of extra money to throw around, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to start building some investments. It's time to start building somewhat of a portfolio, and that was the goal with investing in crypto. Dogecoin, of course, is the one that everybody's talking about right now because it's kind of the funny meme. It's the popular Dogecoin is the one that everyone's talking about right now. I do own some Doge, but I want to urge caution for a lot of people that are wanting to get invested into crypto and coins like Doge. Don't expect for this to blow up overnight and make you a crap ton of money, because the very real reality is that it very well may not. Doge Day was something that was super hyped up in the previous weeks. There was a big talk about the coming Doge Day, 420, the weed holiday. Also, April 20th was supposed to be this day that Dogecoin was pushed over $1, and we all kind of saw how that ended up. Dogecoin kind of fell flat, ended up trading at about 31 cents a coin, and a lot of people are butthurt about that, understandably so, but that's the risk you take when you invest in anything like crypto or any sort of investment or stocks. There's always risks, especially with crypto. It's new, it's unregulated. Be careful if you're getting into it. I want to check the comments and see. Yeah, nobody's commenting or really saying that they're into crypto or anything like that. So let's see. All right, well, I'll leave that question open. If that is something that you own or have ever traded crypto, let us know in the comments below. Meanwhile, let's talk a little bit about the Derek Chauvin trial. Recently, obviously, we are all aware of the George Floyd situation last year. George Floyd was a black man who was killed by Derek Chauvin, a white police officer in Minneapolis. Of course, George Floyd's death ignited protests and uproar across the United States from an assortment of different folks who were just upset and aggravated and just over the state of police and public relations with the police in this country. This ignited this big issue and this conversation in our country about racism and our police departments. It was a super important conversation to have, super relevant conversation to have. And of course, this week, Derek Chauvin was convicted on all 3 counts for the murder of George Floyd, which is one step forward in accountability for our justice system. The fact of the matter is that our justice system is off the rails. It has been for a very long time. The police have too much power. They have too much money. They have too high military standard kind of weaponry, and they just don't need it. They don't need that weaponry. They don't need all this funding, because we don't need to send a police officer to respond to domestic violence not necessarily a domestic dispute. Rather, we don't need to send a police officer to every mental health breakdown. There are specialists, there are people that we can send to those scenarios instead of the police, because the police tend to react with force. They tend to react with, violence. I mean, I hate to, I don't want to cast wide nets or generalizations. It always gets me in trouble. But the truth of the matter is that we have a system that seems to be systematically racist, that seems to systematically oppress minorities, especially for nonviolent drug offenses, especially, in recent years, it seems unarmed minorities getting gunned down and killed by police. Of course, the most recent incident that we hear about in the news was the female, I think it was a female officer who mistook her gun for a taser and shot an unarmed black military veteran to death. And this is the kind of accountability that we've been asking for a long time. Derek Chauvin should just be the beginning. Derek Chauvin deserves to go to prison for the rest of his life, because Derek Chauvin murdered somebody who didn't deserve to die. And that's the case for many police officers, not just in Minneapolis, but across the United States. And this is an issue that deserves to be something we talk about, deserves to be something that there's a conversation going on about. And this should not be the last bit of accountability. This should be the first step in truly realizing accountability for our police officers, for our police departments, our overfunded, militarized police departments and justice system that seems to run on revenue generation. Who can we ticket? What can we cite you with? What can we charge you with? What fine can we levy against you? And especially if you're a minority, especially if you're a drug user, to them, you're just easy pickings. You're just easy revenue generation for the state. It's unfortunate. It makes me very sad. But I'm grateful that justice won in the trial against Derek Chauvin. I am hopeful that going forward, justice will continue to prevail, not just Derek Chauvin, but many other cops who should be held accountable for their actions and for the mistakes and missteps that they take. It's too important of a responsibility to have the lives of other people on your shoulders for us to just give blanket immunity to officers. And that's another thing, is I think qualified immunity needs to be eliminated as soon as possible. I just wanted to touch briefly on the Derek Chauvin thing this week, because it means a lot to me. It's a subject that I think deserves way more attention, way more outrage. And I'm hoping that in my lifetime we can see some sort of transformation of police and justice, criminal justice in our country. That's my hope. We'll see exactly how that turns out. It is 11:20, so I'm going to go ahead and put Logan on with me here for the Driving Home with Logan segment of the PIDCAST. 10:20, yes. Did I say 10:40? I said 11:20. Okay, it is 10:20, so we're going to bring Logan on for the Driving Home with Logan portion of the podcast. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on right now. So let's go ahead and bring Logan, our drummer, on. Welcome back, my friend. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen you, Logan. Oh, you're not driving home. This is a shock. This is different. I got to wait for Logan to turn on his audio.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what up? Oh, shit.
Hey, I can hear you. Uh-oh. Your camera's doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Keys, camera-wise.
What's that?
You just cut out for a second.
Yeah, you're lagging.
Uh-oh. Should I hook up to...
It should definitely hook up to Wi-Fi if you can, for sure.
Okay, 1 second.
So while Logan figures out his internet connection situation, we're just gonna sit out and chill here. I'll show you guys a little bit of the new setup. So I'm over at my friend Raz's apartment, and on the back wall you'll see we have a tapestry here. Isn't that beautiful? The heart. Excuse me, it's a painting, and she actually painted that herself. Isn't that lovely? Yes. Quite fine art. Of course, as always, Mr. Jar back here. It's my right-hand guy. He's always got my back. Logan, it looks like we got you back. Are you there with me?
Yeah, I think I'm in now.
Okay.
It was skipping for a minute. I'm like, oh. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to the Zoom, and also I'm not driving home this time, so.
I know it's a little weird not to see you driving home from work. Zoom is a little bit it is a little different. We did do some testing before we went live tonight, but of course you can't work out every single kink in the testing process.
Yeah. Are you able to see comments?
Yeah, I have my phone here, so I'm on a laptop actually tonight, and so I can see all the comments and stuff right from my phone. Right now, the only comment is Raz says she digs your tapestry.
Oh, thank you.
It's super cool, she says.
Super cool. We got the lights and everything.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, that was we had a tie-dye day, and like tie-dye is expensive, but like, oh my God, I want to do it for a living. Swear to God.
Did you you tie-dyed the tapestry?
Yeah. We got that, and then we went to Walmart and we got like a bunch of like pillowcases and like sheets, and like we tie-dyed like a mask, and like I did a hat and stuff, and like, yeah, it was like a giant mess, but like I love that shit.
Yeah, no, it's actually looks super sick. I like the backdrop. I really want to get us a banner, so I want to get us 2 banners. I want to get a PIDCAST banner for right back here that we can hang up during the show, and for when we're playing live, I want to have a banner in the back, like a Paco's Desperate banner. Like we could maybe do something that's hand painted. It'd be dope.
Yeah, that'd be dope. we gotta you gotta get like a whole like PIDCAST like office set up, like get like the table, and then we get like a young Jamie or some shit.
Dude, I think Hawthorne Heights, dude, they've got it figured out, because when I went and when I was an extra in their music video, it was like a year and a half ago now. They have a whole building, and it's their print shop, so it's where they print all their merch. We shot parts of the video in there. Dude, we need our own compound. Dude, we need a PID compound. We need like guard towers. We need like turrets, bro. We need like landmines.
We need like a tank.
Dude, we need a moat with alligators. Keep out all the fucking posters.
No, you gotta get that mobile action. You need like that tank and like them Humvees, so that way you could take it to the BMV and
Dude, you know what? My idea about sending the tank to the BMV, that still stands. I still 100% want to do it. Unfortunately, it's kind of difficult to rent a tank, especially when you want to drive it to like a government building. They kind of frown upon that. So we might be out of luck on that for a while, but I assume one day we'll have enough clout to drive a tank there.
Yeah, I think that like constitutes as like some kind of like act of treason or something.
Yeah, like you shouldn't.
You're gonna end up in Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, I feel like I've been in enough rehabs and psych wards. I've probably been in worse places. The Salvation Army, dude. Oh God, that was the worst.
I've heard bad things.
Yeah. Old Erie in Michigan, bro. Oh, you know.
So what I miss, I wasn't able to watch on the way back.
I talked about we talked about Glow IPA, of course, our very own beer that we're coming out with. We talked about Opal and how Opal's been going off the Chisane the past week because it got added to a big playlist. Talked a little bit about cryptocurrency, and then we talked about the Derek Chauvin murder trial.
Nice. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck Derek Chauvin. Fuck that guy.
Is he going to jail for like ever? Or?
Multiple decades.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly life in prison, because what he was actually convicted of was unintentional homicide and third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. So
yeah,
they're not like the worst murder charges. They could be. They definitely could be worse charges.
I was like watching the trials, and I'm like, how is this like a debatable? Like, there's footage of it happening. Like, you know, you can watch it happen for yourself. You know,
I saw a Facebook post earlier that was kind of mocking it. It was like it was like the only reason that they found Derek Chauvin guilty was because they feared what would have happened if they didn't. And I'm like, that's the point of criminal justice. If you literally are afraid of the reaction of people when you don't put somebody in prison, that probably means that person, you know what I mean? Like, like we all saw it. We saw what happened.
They're afraid of what's gonna happen if they don't do it. It's like,
if they don't provide accountability,
they should be afraid, like, you know, because like people aren't gonna let that shit slide. You know what I'm saying?
Nor should they.
Yeah.
Nor should they at all.
Speaking of going back to the cryptocurrency though, I got some Dogecoin.
You bought some Doge?
Yeah.
What price did you buy in at?
Dude, to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing, so I just put like $20 down, and I was like, let's see what that does. And it seems like it's like just yo-yoing between like $21 and $19. So it's like,
yeah,
am I supposed to cash out? Like,
so basically what happened was you were supposed to get in Doge early, you know, it was trading at 1 cent a coin or 2 cent a coin, and then buy a shit ton of coins. And then, you know, when they bounce up to 30-40 cents a coin, that's when you clear, you know, huge margins, because, you know, that's 400, 5,000, you know, 4,000, 5,000% gain. I think you and I missed the boat on Doge because I got in at about 34 cents a coin, and it's trading at 31 cents a coin. So I actually took some Doge out today and took a loss
Yeah,
on it.
it's it seems like it just rapidly goes up and down, and it's like you just kind of like got a hot potato it, I feel like. But like
The
it,
one that I'm really excited on is Ethereum. That's the one that I really want to get involved in, because they're launching like an entirely new Ethereum network in 2 to 3 years, and you can like stake your current Ethereum coins to get like interest on the new Ethereum when it launches. So the wise investment right now, I would say is to invest in Ethereum, but it's a long haul investment. If you're looking for an investment that you can flip real quick and make 2-3 grand on, Ethereum is probably not your best bet. That's where you want to look at some of the cheaper coins like Cardano. You want to look at Stellar Lumens. You want to look at CeeLo and those kind of coins, because those coins are trading at lower prices. You can buy more now, and then if those coins eventually take hold and, you know, their price goes up, that's when you can clear some big bucks on trades.
uh yeah, I looked into Ethereum for like a minute because I was trying to do like the NFT art stuff, but like then again, like it kind of ended in like me not understanding how to do it. And then like I watched like YouTube videos about it, and like it just like I it just can't make sense to me. Like there's just like a whole lot. Like I don't understand how it pretty much is money. I think it's just um like how is it money? Like
Well,
is
it's
it
money.
through
It's money because of the fees that are associated with transferring money from one person to another on the network, which which takes computing power. Like Ethereum, for example, uses like smaller denominations of Ethereum to pay what they call gas, and gas is like the fee that they charge to transmit Ethereum from one person to another. So the what gives crypto value is its scarcity, its utility, and its governance. Those are like the three factors that give it value. And honestly, dude, it's so unregulated right now and kind of just wild west that I don't think it really, I think you just basically should just invest in it and hope that any of it takes off, but don't put in money that you can't afford to lose. Only, you know, if you got 20 extra bucks here, 20 extra bucks there, put it into Ethereum, put it into Bitcoin. In 2 years, who knows? Maybe that shit'll be worth 60 grand. Who knows? You might as well though. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because what do you have to lose?
That's kind of where I'm at with like the Dogecoin. It's like I got like 20 bucks in like Doge just kind of chilling, and like I said, it's yo-yoing between like a gain of $1 and a loss of $1.
Yeah.
And that it's like rapidly going up and down. Uh but like
Burp.
I'm just imagining that as being like stable. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Just because it's fast, like it's just stable. You know,
Yeah.
it's like vibrating between the two.
Well, the
And
same thing
like,
happens with stocks. You know, when the market
yeah,
opens throughout the day, you'll see the stock go from 323 to 345 to 319 to 327 and back and forth. And then it settles on 325. So it only moved, you know, some small amount during the entire day, but throughout the day it was like this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like I just feel like I'm pretty much just waiting for like Elon Musk to like tweet about it or something.
Well,
So
yeah.
that,
I mean, once Daddy Elon gets on it and fucking, you know, talks about it, that's always when the coin spikes. But there's like three people that own most of the Doge coin, so that's why it's a little. You got to be careful with Doge because there's a very small amount of people that control the price of it, so it's a risky investment.
yeah, the fucking 1%ers of goddamn cryptocurrency.
Well, I mean, any financial industry, any financial anything, of course, this is how it's always going to be. Same shit with Bitcoin. There's
Yeah.
you know, the where new Bitcoin comes from is when you mine Bitcoin, and then that Bitcoin goes out into the ethosphere. But there's only so much Bitcoin to go around. There will only ever be 21 million, and it stands to reason, you know, for us to kind of be like, wonder what's going to happen when Bitcoin runs out of new Bitcoin. I think the price will probably skyrocket, but I guess that's what
Yeah.
we're all betting on. You know, I mean, it's just like gambling. I mean, because who really fucking has any sort of understanding of what's going to happen? You can sit there and write your article on, you know, CNBC all you want about like what crypto is or is not going to do. None of us have any idea.
Yeah. And it's like it's called like currency, but like no one's purchasing anything with it. Like it's just kind of like it's like a stock for something that isn't even like grossing money or
It's
like
basically temporary investments of money with the hopes that that investment of money will then turn into more money. And
yeah.
believe it or not, the more accessible paying things with Bitcoin and crypto is, the more crypto is going to be worth. So we all should kind of be hoping, especially those of us who are invested, we all should be hoping for a little bit more of mainstreaming of it, because the more mainstream it becomes, you know, that's where we're going to get real gains on the crypto market.
To me it just seems kind of like it seems kind of like ridiculous to me because it's like I feel like it's not currency, but I feel
It
like
isn't.
it's like
It is, but it isn't.
it's just like a middleman for currency. Like I
Yeah,
feel
a
like it's
digital
like
middleman.
yeah, like you spend the money on this and like they essentially just hold it for you. You know,
Yeah.
and like that's kind of what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's weird. It's weird how the entire system is set up, but the ultimate end goal of it all is to decentralize money, which means that you can't have concentrations of wealth in banks. You can't have concentrations of wealth in, you know, and maybe it'll be successful in doing that, and maybe it won't, but it sure is one hell of a ride, and I'm having a lot of fun. You know, I'll be pulling up my fucking portfolio like every other second, dude. Like, oh, what are my gains? What are my losses?
yeah.
Like, I'll pull my Coinbase right now, and I'll show you. Like, right now, that's how much. I don't know if it'll even show. It probably won't. I've got like 400 in, and I don't know if it'll show at all, but yeah, it's not going to. I have like 9 different
That just
coins.
looks like a glowing screen.
Find your
Like
glow.
yeah, that's actually what that song was about, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about Bitcoin.
No, it's like I don't like I just really want to understand it, but like I try to do the research and like at the end of the day, it's just fucking math. Like and like it's like trying to learn like a new thing of math and like I just don't have the energy to like figure it out. Honestly,
buy
like I
buy into the cheap coins and wait for them to blow. That's all I can recommend. And invest in Ethereum and Bitcoin, because they're gonna
yeah,
Bitcoin,
that's
dude.
kind of
Eventually, one day, Bitcoin's gonna hit 100,000 a coin, right? And I've already started buying in now at 50,000 a coin. You see what I'm saying?
see that's ridiculous to me because like when you say like I own a Bitcoin, I feel like I don't know the only coins I've ever the like the most expensive coin I've ever owned was like $1, you know, which is like the you know the golden Sacagawea coin, and
Yeah,
it's like I just hate the fact that it's if like if you have a Bitcoin, then that means you're like Moneybags McGee, and it's like
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
I
I just
have
like
fractions of Bitcoin. I don't
yeah,
have a
yeah,
Bitcoin. I
and it's
have
like having
fractions.
I just wish they would like change the name, because like having a fraction of a coin feels like you might as well just be dirt broke. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's all about image, right?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
So yeah, that's what we talked. That's pretty much what we talked about tonight on the PIDCAST was crypto. We actually talked quite a bit about crypto. We'll call this the crypto episode. We talked about crypto. We talked about Derek Chauvin. How do you feel, Logan, seeing the success this week that Opal is getting?
I'm kind of stoked about it because like that whole like 2-song EP was like it was a cool process writing it, and like I like it was like I honestly think it was a solid EP. But
Yeah, it was solid. I'm proud of it. I feel like it's not the exact realization of what we were going for, but
yeah.
I'm still proud of it.
Well, at the end of the day, it's just 2 songs. Like it's hard to really notice that.
Yeah,
But like I feel dumb as shit. But what's the name of the other song that's not Opal? Or
autopsy,
Autopsy.
jackass. You're
For
only
some
in the
reason,
you only fucking helped write
no,
it, dickhead.
no, I know. It's just been a long day. I was thinking the Arsonist for some reason, and I know they're similar, but Autopsy like was like another like a good song, and I'm like really proud of it. But like Opal was always my favorite out of like the 2 on that EP, and like Opal was just like I I was just like it felt like super underappreciated compared to like the Autopsy, and
Yeah,
like I just to me, like I'm glad that like that song, like other people are kind of like resonating with that song. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
for sure.
Because Opal to me was just like my favorite. Like it's probably my favorite song that like we have written while I've been in the band. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Well, Logan, it is 10:40, which means that it's time for our special guest, Brandon Rupska from All American Chess Club. I appreciate you coming on and shooting the shit with me about crypto for a little while, dude. And I will, of course, see you next week on next week's edition of the PIDCAST right here.
All right, cool. Peace out.
Deuces, man. Thanks.
Peace.
Peace. All right, so bring on Brandon Rupska, the special guest of the evening. You guys have listened to me rant about crypto and other bullshit for long enough. And so we'll bring on Brandon, and we're going to be asking him all things about his band, All American Chess Club, as well as their new single, right now, only here on the PIDCAST. So we'll let Brandon get set up here, get his audio turned on. Mr. Rupska, whenever you do get ready to go, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm glad to have you here tonight. I appreciate you coming on and stopping to talk about All American Chess Club single. Remind me real quick, and the viewers, what is the name of the new single coming out from All American Chess Club?
So it is Lillian Knight, in parentheses Knight, because we actually already have a song out called Lillian. It's actually the original rendition of Lillian, and this is kind of our interpretation as a band of Lillian.
Gotcha.
So actually, wanted to have Marty on. Marty's the bassist for All American Chess Club. He had some things he had to do tonight, but he actually wrote pretty much almost the whole song on acoustic guitar. And he posted it online, and I think I saw it or somebody saw it, and we kind of just thought, oh, that's a really cool song. Why don't we just make that a chess club song? And we brought our resources together and essentially took it from there. Took it from there essentially, and
Yeah.
added everything else and changed a couple things. Like it's not the same. I play things a little bit differently on a guitar than he does. Like we have just different styles, and so, but yeah, that's essentially the full band take of Lillian, which is, I think, one of my personal favorite songs of ours. So
Awesome. Well, let's start out at the beginning, the very genesis of you as a musician. Mr. Brandon Rupska. So where does your journey with music begin? What is your origin story? What's the genesis of you as a musician?
I mean, I'm sure everyone starts off as like playing the recorder, but not going to include that. I mean, I played violin for a short period of time in 5th grade and didn't really stick with it because it hurt my hand doing this form on your hand. You know, for like 12-year-old me, it just kind of didn't work out. And then eventually I started playing bass clarinet, middle school, you know, tried to play clarinet, but then I guess they ran out of clarinet, so they gave me the bigger brother. And eventually I actually picked up playing keyboard to participate in halftime shows, like for like pep band and whatnot. So that was actually like the first instrument that I really kind of cared about, was just playing on keyboard and learning that. And it's a lot harder to learn and like teach yourself keyboard than it is guitar. That
Yeah.
I soon learned about. You know, I found out very quickly that guitar was kind of easier to learn and teach yourself, especially because of the resources online. But that's what I played for about 2 or 3 years. And then I actually never meant to play guitar. I was in 8th grade, and I was in a pep band halftime kind of thing where I played with a bass player who was my best friend at the time, and a longtime friend who was played guitar, and he actually later on played in a lot of other bands that were like blues oriented, and he had played in lots of different places. But uh, we had some like contests. I don't even remember all the details, but it was at our school, and I came back and I was just chilling out. I don't remember what I was doing, probably playing video games, to be honest. Uh, and I heard a knock at the door, and I looked outside the window, and I actually saw my dad walking away. And so I was kind of like weirded out. Just like to preface everything, I have kind of a complicated relationship with my father. He wasn't very much in the picture, but still, I kind of knew about him and was aware of just various situations, and just, you know, I kind of knew some of the dynamic that he had with me. And so I saw him walking away. He had knocked on my door, and I walked outside, and he had left an electric guitar and an amp for me on my doorstep. And that's kind of how that whole thing started in 8th grade. So about 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. And that kind of fueled your eventual, transition into playing in bands and writing and recording music.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
the beginning, essentially.
What was the first band that you were ever in?
I had a band called Goodbye Therapy. That it was honestly just a lot of my friends just put together. Like at the time when I formed
Like
it, it was
like kind of like a super group.
yeah. So like it started off with me and my best friend Andres, and he played guitar and I played guitar, um, and he was more of like a lead guitar kind of person, and I was more into rhythm at the time. And then we jumped around drummers quite a bit, but the bassist for the entire time was also our friend Kevin, which I went to school with him since middle school, so I knew him for quite some time. And actually, no, it wasn't middle school, or was it middle school? High school, something like that. I knew him for quite some time, and we jumped around drummers for a bit, and we were just kind of like an alt rock band essentially. and we had covered like the Foo Fighters, and we had a Thermals cover for like a Pillar of Salt, and just that kind of stuff. Nothing too like insane or like extreme. We weren't like grindcore band or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: when at the beginning, at the top of the interview and stuff, I kind of introduced All American Chess Club as a Midwest emo outfit. I mean, do you agree with that?
um, I think that the term Midwest emo is kind of a complicated. I mean, okay, so genres are complicated. No matter how you cut them, they are complicated, especially when they are newer and not fully established. I think Midwest emo has this connotation of kind of like twinkly, chill riffs. Like when I think of Midwest emo, I think of like I don't think Cap and Jazz are Midwest. I'm not sure where they're from, but I think of American football and I think of the Get Up Kids. Uh, Although that might be incorrect, but we are from a Midwest town. I mean, as Midwest as it can get, people in Terre Haute tend to kind of shit all over Terre Haute, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, my
Like
hometown's very similar.
it's just that's kind of a Midwest thing, and I
Yeah.
think that adds a little bit to what the Midwest experience is, and so in that way, yeah, we are a Midwest emo band as much as we are just an emo band, or however you want to cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the top of this interview, of course, I called All American Chess Club a Midwest emo band because to me, if you're an emo band and you're from the Midwest, unfortunately, welcome to the Midwest emo club. You know what I mean? But the reason I ask is because I wanted to kind of get a little bit more background and what brought an interest to you in that style of music. When did you know that? Was there ever a moment in time that it clicked or that it occurred to you that, hey, like I'm kind of like a sad boy and I want to make sad boy music?
Well, to be honest, I feel that I've always kind of been drawn to kind of like darker styles of music. So like I'm kind of honestly surprised that I got into emo. My first genre that I really listened to was probably metal music. I progressed from like listening to Metallica when I was in 5th grade to listening to like death metal and then Cattle Decapitation and Pig Destroyer and all these like more extreme bands. And then eventually just kind of like something just clicked and I started listening to more alternative indie stuff in high school. And um I don't know, I think along the lines when I was listening to a lot more like pop punk and indie stuff started to feel a little bit stale. And I just like to explore lots of different genres. And here locally, there were a lot of groups that, or just people that were into the emo scene. And so I figured, that seems to be a kind of a common scene. I should, know a little bit more about it. And I didn't approach it in the way that, what do you guys listen to? And let me get into it. But I I don't remember how I stumbled upon it, but I stumbled upon the Get Up Kids while I was doing a solo project. And I think I stumbled upon it while like looking up music for Alkaline Trio, because Alkaline Trio is also one of my favorite bands. Um, and they had this compilation album that they had a piece of, and I just was kind of blown away by the song, and I covered it, and that kind of got me into the sphere of the Get Up Kids, and then that got me into, oh, okay, I can kind of start enjoying other bands like American Football, and then as soon enough I was recommended Algernon Cadwallader, and then it was just a snowball effect of just band
One of the
after
better
band after band after
pronunciations
band.
of Codwallader I've ever heard.
Is that how it's supposed to be pronounced?
I don't know. I don't know if it's Cadwallader or if it's Codwoodall. I don't know. I just say Algernon. Like, you know the band,
Yeah.
the twinkly band, you know, Algernon.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how I feel about frost.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs to start off and then not finish because the rest of it is just complete. It's not nonsense, but it's like beautiful nonsense. Like you can't follow it, but you're also like, I'm okay with this. This is good. I like this.
Well, it's very reminiscent of. I know you brought up Cap'n Jazz earlier, and I believe Cap'n Jazz is from it's from Champaign, Urbana, Illinois.
Mhm.
I know that Cap'n Jazz is comprised of some of the members of American football. I think Mike. I think just Mike actually. It might have just been Mike. I know Mike was in Cap'n Jazz, and my favorite part about Algernon was them kind of calling back to that Cap'n Jazz record, because when you read the Wikipedia and like the background of that record, it was like he was on so many mushrooms when he wrote the lyrics to all that, like that. It's so fantastic, like knowing that and then going back and listening to that record and just being like, this is whacked out of his mind.
See, I had no idea about that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, you know, Algernon 25 years later. Let me tell you what I think about Frost. So
That's
tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the new single. Where is it coming out at? When is it coming out? How can fans find it? Give me your sell. Give me your pitch on the new All American Chess Club single.
so the next All American Chess Club song, which comes out in 2 days, May or not May, no, it's April 23rd. It's 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 kind of just a very well balanced song. It's not super dirty at times, but it's definitely has energy. It has so much energy. Every time that we play that song live, I get such a rush for the chorus because we both come in, me and Marty, we both sing at the same time, and it's just such a full sound. Every time we play in practice, it's always just like that's one of my favorite choruses. And I think that could be because I didn't write a majority of it. Because once you've written the song, you become a lot more critical of it. But I generally think this is a really, really good song, and the the craft that Marty put into it is just amazing. Like when I heard it the first time, I could hear something in it, and when we brought it together, everything just came together. The dynamics of it, it's a very dynamic song, and it's actually the first song of ours that introduces chorus, which just really breathes life into this song. And I think it's going to be a very welcome addition. I think it's one of our best songs, honestly, and that's saying a lot compared to like some people who comment on like Sorry Face.
I was gonna say Sorry Face.
I feel like Sorry Face. So to be honest, Sorry Face was like I kind of felt like that was going to be a really good song, and it was a collaboration between me and Marty because Marty came up with the lick at the beginning. Yeah. The bass player came up with that. So that's really cool. And this was actually it was formed we started making this song right at the end of kind of a staff change on the chess club team. We all of a sudden we were a three-piece and we had to come up with new material and we were trying out a new tuning, completely new tuning. Like we had less than a month of experience with this tuning that we play in, and he comes to me with this and I'm like, okay, let's just add this and then add this, and we pretty much wrote a good chunk of it in one night.
Yeah.
And I was at his place in his bedroom and we were just playing. And a good chunk of the instrumental part was just made there. But similarly, Lillian has that same kind of thing. Now, I can't say how long it took to write it, but by the time I heard it, I could kind of tell where everything was going, and it just fell into place very easily. It was one of our earliest songs that we wrote, but it's definitely a top-notch song. Like, it's one of my favorites for sure.
Well, I personally am super excited to hear it. I'm a huge fan of All American Chess Club, and I have been singing the gospel about All American Chess Club from the moment that you and I first met, which actually was in the Midwest. I think it was in the Midwest emo posting group, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
It's been
well-
kind of a long while.
Well, okay, so to be honest, I think how we first met and we first started discussing was I by perchance became the owner of a kind of growing Midwest emo revival
Playlist.
playlist.
Okay. Yeah.
And actually, you had sent me a suggestion for your band, and I remember at the time I was just getting so many requests, and so I was very uh, just burdened by it. But I still like enjoy it. Actually, it's very like good to get all the requests, even if I don't like them or not. I mean,
It's good to have something to pick through, and
yeah,
kind of
yeah. And I like to hear just new material because sometimes it's very interesting. Like I've heard some very just like how like I'm trying to remember some of them, like a band that's like a good example. Well, I guess you guys. I mean, um, when I heard your guys' song Autopsy, I actually showed my band it not too long after when we were practicing, like right before practice, because like I have just a PA setup and whatnot, and like it just was like an automatically like good response, especially from our drummer. Our drummer really liked your Autopsy, especially, and that scream in the chorus.
Yeah.
I really like that scream in the chorus. It just kind of like fit in a nice way. It's hard to explain, but
I think
I don't know.
I think we just fell in love with each other's music, and I think that's kind of like how we became friends. And
Yeah.
and having you on the podcast, I know that when we were first figuring out what we wanted to do in terms of live streaming and with the podcast, I think I had you on for just like a bullshit around and have fun kind of thing. But I knew that, like, just knowing you and everything that All American Chess Club has to offer, I knew that there was a lot I wanted to talk to you about and kind of explore and pick your brain about in terms of your guys' music and your sound. I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking about it with me. Brandon, tell us where we can find All American Chess Club, where we can find the new single Lillian parentheses Night. Tell me all about All American Chess Club, the plugs. Where can we find everything all related to All American Chess Club?
So it's coming out everywhere, all streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, you know, Pandora, pretty much everywhere. We go through DistroKid, so it's going to be out there everywhere. And I'm going to be posting it on Bandcamp in 2 days on Friday. So it should be there, I believe, at midnight. So if you care to stay up, for another like what, not because it's like 25 hours. You'll be able to hear it in 25 hours.
I might grab a little bit of sleep first, but I think that I'll come back and check it out. Yeah, I'll definitely be one of the first people checking it out, man. So Spotify, wherever you stream music. Do you guys have a website or a merch store?
Right now we go through Teespring for some merch like t-shirts and whatnot. We don't have a huge selection out there, to be honest, but it is there. Mostly stuff with the album cover for Oliver, which is something that we're super happy with. I had commissioned out it's a hand-drawn picture of a cat in a field of flowers, and it was kind of a somewhat lengthy process, but the end result we are very happy with. And I don't know, just it was what we wanted, and we're very happy with it. And that's pretty much the cover for both Oliver and Lillian Knight. And it's kind of like a inverted black and white cover for Lillian, which I thought was a really just a cool rendition of it. And so we just decided to make that the cover for Lillian.
Right on, my friend. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and for just generally being a really awesome supporter of Paco and a good friend. Talking with you over the past, 6 to 7 months, we've never met in person, but just your support, through Facebook Messenger, just being a good friend, a good support, and somebody that I can bounce ideas off of. And it's great. It's a grateful opportunity for me to be able to pick your brain and be able to showcase your guys' music and give you a platform to speak about what you guys are doing with your band. Thank you so much for joining me, Brandon. Is there anything else you want to address the PIDCAST universe before we close up shop for the evening?
Anything to address the PIDCAST universe? PIDCAST universe. Let's see. Where's the best place to listen to your band? I mean, I guess I kind of answered that. That's one of the questions. Spotify, Pandora, whatnot. I don't think so. Just make sure to have a, listen out for the single coming out
Check
here in
out
a
the
couple
new
days,
single.
and the EP coming out for Paco is Desperate. And what was that again? Was it May 28th?
May 28th.
May 28th.
We're coming out with an EP and a fucking beer, dude.
Yeah, we have actually like several songs that we're waiting to record. A lot of unreleased material. We have like probably 8 songs unreleased, enough for a whole album, but we're gonna hold off on the album just yet.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're gonna stick to the EPs for now as well. Well, Brandon, I will let you go, man. I appreciate you hopping on and talking with us for the PIDCAST. Thank you so much again. And I will let you go, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And everybody, please make sure you check out All American Chess Club's new single, Lillian Night, coming out in 2 days everywhere you stream music. All American Chess Club. Check them out.
Have a good one.
Take care, man. Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brandon Rupska from All American Chess Club from Terre Haute, Indiana. Great band, great group of dudes. Make sure you check out their music as well as their new single coming out in a couple days, anywhere you stream music. For Mr. Jar and for our production assistant, Raz, I am Paco, and we are signing off for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been my pleasure. We will see you next week with special guest Taylor Eby from the band Handguns. Make sure to tune in. You don't want to miss out. Taylor is our manager, a great friend of mine, and it's going to be one hell of an episode. So make sure to tune in. We will see you then, my friends. Take care and enjoy the rest of your evening.